Final Fantasy VII Remake is a video game that came out in 2020 exclusively for the PlayStation 4, and that's only exclusive for the first year. It's a remake of the original Final Fantasy VII that came out for the PlayStation 1 all the way back in 1997. It tells the story of Cloud, an ex-soldier who is now turned a mercenary and is hired by the eco-terrorist group AVALANCHE as they try and take out the Mako reactors which are drawing energy from the planet. However, the company behind the reactors, Shinra, is actually the ones really pulling the strings behind AVALANCHE's terrorist attacks. But one thing that none of them know is that an evil, dark secret from the past is the one that's really controlling all the shots and has a hidden agenda that could destroy the entire planet. Now, at the time of recording, this game has been out for about a week. Now, me, as a huge Final Fantasy game fan even, I have completed the game. And I've decided, I know I normally do film reviews, but I've decided to actually do a review on the Final Fantasy VII Remake game. But I'm still doing it in my own personal and unique way because, let's face it, if there's no such thing as a perfect film, the same also applies to a video game as well. So that's what we're discussing today. 10 things that could make Final Fantasy VII Remake better. Right, before I get started, I just want to put it out there, I am actually a Final Fantasy fan. Now, I normally do film reviews on this channel, but as I said, I want to do one on this game because I love the game, I love the original, I love the whole Final Fantasy franchise. So if you are new to my channel and you do want to see my film reviews, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and also share as well. Let's get the word out about my channel, that would be a great help. Also, just want to say there are spoilers about this video game, and when I say spoilers, if you have played and completed and know every inch of detail about the original Final Fantasy VII but not played the remake, there are going to be a lot of differences. So there's a lot of spoilers in this that was not in the original game. Other than that, let's crack on with 10 things that it could make it better. Number 10. Call the game a reimagining, not a remake. Yeah, although this game actually follows the story of the original Final Fantasy X, it adds so much more to it, and it also changes a lot. So although it's updated for the modern era, this isn't a true remake. A remake would have been exactly the same. More what they do with the remaster, where they just update graphics. But the remake was if they make the exact same game from the ground up, but keeping it exactly the same. It's not exactly the same. In fact, this is a reimagining. This has certain aspects of the original game, but there's so much they've added on, so much they've taken out. Yeah, definition of this game is a reimagining, not a remake. Number 9, game is too quick. Now, when I first played Final Fantasy VII back in the 90s, I actually completed it, or got to the final boss in 45 hours, but I made a mistake. I didn't really do the side quests. I didn't go off and explore. It was my first foray into RPG games. I didn't know you had to grind. There's so much side quests to get better material, better equipment. I didn't know all that. So from start to finish, just doing the story, it took 45 hours. Now, Final Fantasy XV, which was the last main release of the Final Fantasy franchise, I actually completed it in 80 hours. I have gone back and actually completed it a second time to get even more. But yeah, it took 80 hours. I completed this game with my first run through in 28 hours. Now, I did do the side quests. There's not actually that many of them. This game is way too quick. And the reason why it's too quick, it only covers the Midgar section. That's an annoyance. They should have a lot more to it, especially as they added so much to it just for the Midgar section. It's still too short of a game, really, especially for the cost of how much it cost me to play this game. I don't want to be completing it in under 30 hours. Number 8, slow gameplay. I know I've just said that the game was too quick, and now I'm saying the gameplay is too slow, but it's true. Although there's not much story to it, in 30 hours, only 10 hours of it was actually me playing the actual game. The rest of it is predominantly cutscenes and instructions. I mean, the amount of cutscenes that are in this game would put the Metal Gear franchise to shame. I mean, walk down a corridor, turn a corner, cutscene. Go down another corridor, another corner, cutscene. It's cutscene after cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. It's just so infuriating. And one of the things that really annoys me is on the Mako 5 reactor levels. On your escape, you have to go to a computer to see what you want to disable, but there's like 4 or 5 computers. every time you go to a computer you get an instruction. Well, why can't you just have like what that computer is as a pop-up above it? It's really annoying that you go there and you have to wait a minute while the game loads the cutscene and then comes out. And you need to go for each and every single one of these. But it's just so infuriating and just makes the gameplay so slow. Number 7, less linear gameplay. I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one. I understand why the game is linear, because the Midgar section in the original Final Fantasy VII was quite linear. But the whole Midgar section was the tutorial for the rest of the game. Once you leave Midgar, it opens up to the whole rest of the world. And unfortunately, with RPG games, that's half the fun, is actually the exploration, looking to explore this strange new world. I'm quoting Star Trek, that's a bad thing. But the point stands, this game plays more like Final Fantasy 13 rather than 15, where you had a whole world to explore. Yeah, no, we like the explorations, don't just make us go A and B. And even the times that you can go off and explore, if you try, it says, oh no, not yet, you're not allowed down there, come back. There's no exploration in this, it's a very linear game. Number 6, better side quests. Another staple of the Final Fantasy franchise is the side quests. Some of them are really immersive, takes a long time to actually do, and they're quite fulfilling. Whereas this, they're done quite simply, they're very basic, and some of them just so time consuming it's unbelievable. And they're not rewarding, and they're not really fulfilling, and I get the feeling they're only here to really pad the story out. Without them, it's a 20-hour game, and same again about 5 hours of that would be gameplay. It's just, they're not really that good, they're not enjoyable, they're not exciting, and I don't really want to go around hunting cats on a video game, really. Number 5, female character models. Now, this annoyance is actually coming from my girlfriend, who watched me while I was playing this game, and there was one annoying thing she found, and that the female characters pretty much use the same character model. If you took the clothes and hair of Tifa and put them on Aerith, no difference. The actual character models are near enough identical from most female characters. A couple of the NPCs are different, but predominantly they're all the same model. No real changing differences between any of them. Number 4, One-Winged Angel. The One-Winged Angel music is an awesome piece of music, and if you listen to it on the original PlayStation with its MIDI synthesizers, it came out awesomely, and it was a good piece of music. When they redid it for the Advent Children film, oh my god, that was epic, classical and rock at the same time. It was brilliant, it was hard hitting, it was fast, it was action paced, brilliant piece of music. So when I got to the part of the game where the One-Winged Angel music was there, it was quite soft. It lost its harness, it lost its edge. It wasn't as good. In fact, out of the 3 main versions of this song, this is the worst one. And yeah, I've actually listened to One-Winged Angel on Spotify walking to and from work, but in this game it didn't really work. Number 3, sound issues. Now, this is me being pot kettle black here, because let's face it, one of the biggest complaints I get on this channel is I'm not loud enough and the music's too loud and you sometimes can't hear me. But I accept that. I'm a one-man band and I'm an amateur. Square Enix is a multi-million-pound company that spent millions on this game. Those sort of issues, sound issues, should not exist. There was quite a lot of times you couldn't hear the voice actors because the music was too loud and they were too quiet. On a game like this, there should not be silly little errors like that in a game like this. Number 2, have a cliffhanger. Now, me personally, I'm a sucker for a good cliffhanger. I've said it so many times, my favourite cliffhanger, Star Trek Next Generation, best of both worlds, best cliffhanger ever. And fight me if you disagree with me, because you're wrong. But this game didn't. It had its own whole little Midgar section, wrapped it all nice and neat and said, right, we need to stop Sephiroth, let's go. And then that was the end of the game. No! Leave it on a cliffhanger! Have the power! This is the whole thing about the downside of this game, is where it's the Midgar section. With the amount of stuff you could have done And the amount of stuff you've put in like Final Fantasy 15, you could have done the game properly and took us all the way up to where the first disc ended on the original PlayStation. That would have actually been a fantastic place to end the game. You've got a cliffhanger. You get people wanting the sequel. You got people hyped up for the sequel without no marketing. But with this, where you've wrapped it up all nice and neat, we've had our Final Fantasy Remake fix. We're not really going to be fussed for the next one. Although, let's face it, I'm going to be fussed for the next one. But the game makers could have helped. Cliffhangers, brilliant invention. Number 1, dead characters not really dead. We are going well into spoiler territory here. A lot of the characters that died in the original game, they're not dead here. Nope. For example, Biggs, Wedge, Jesse, they all died trying to defend the pillar before Sector 7 went flat as a pancake. Wedge got out. Straight away he got out, helped the evacuation of Sector 7. Jesse and Biggs, they gave the impression they died in the fight, and at the end of the game it turns out that Biggs was still alive. Now, I don't know if that's because my choices during the game, or if you did different choices. Jessie survived, because Jessie in my playthrough didn't survive. There's nothing of her, but Biggs was alive in a house in Sector 5. They're not dead. Why not? Their deaths in the original game drove Barret to hit. It was a defining moment in his character arc, but you've lost that in this game. And Wedge was another one. He ends up being a major help later on in this game after he was supposed to have died in the first place. But that's not the worst, not really dead. Cloud in this game has mastered manipulating time. And he went back and stopped Zack dying. No! Zack was half the reason, Zack's death was half the reason of Cloud's story. He took Zack's memories because Zack died trying to protect Cloud. You've just ruined half of Cloud's story arc with that one little bit. Now, I don't know if they're going to address this in the sequel. If we are getting a sequel, there's no official word at time of recording. But no, this is why I'm going back to number 1. This is a reimagining, not a remake. If it was a remake, Zack would stay dead. You cannot create time paradoxes in a game like this and call it a remake. No. Final thoughts. So, what did I think of this game? Well, overall, I enjoyed the game, and I really did like the game. And I think that's more the nostalgia coming out rather than analysing the game for what it is. Myself included, and all these other reviews that saying the game are great, we're all blinded by our nostalgia. When you've taken the nostalgia away, it isn't actually that good of a game. If this game came out today, because Final Fantasy VII never came out originally in '97, I don't think it would have as high reviews. I don't think it was sold as well or as successful. Here's a couple of examples. The graphics, although they're a massive improvement over the original Final Fantasy VII game, they are more on par with Final Fantasy 13 rather than 15. Let's face it, the graphics in 15 were fantastic. You haven't got the ability to jump in this game, something you did have in Final Fantasy 15 as well. Yeah, there's just lots of nagging, lots of little things. And the changes to the story, some were good, some were not. And it's balancing it whole out. The music, though, in this game was good. It was nice nostalgia, updating the music. Bar the sound issues, I did like the music side of things. Controlling the game was a con. There's a mode called Classic Mode. Now, in my mind, Classic Mode is you are going to play the game how you play the original Final Fantasy VII. No, it's an amalgamation of the new system with a completely different system. It actually made it harder to control. And I wanted to try the Classic Mode, but no. Other than that, the easy and normal mode is more of a hack and slash. There's not really much thought to it, even though they say, oh yeah, it's tactics. Well, not really. Once you get into the hang of it, you just use Barret all the time to go bang bang from a long distance. Sorted. And if you want a tip, put lightning materia on Barret's, and yeah, everything comes so much easier. But yeah, don't want to be slating this game. I really wanted this game to do really, really, really well. But ultimately, it's not. But the nostalgia side of things is still beating me up. So I am actually ranking this game 7 out of 10. I have to knock it down because it's not good, but I'm still giving it that high marks, because yeah, it's Final Fantasy. I can't not give it a bad score really, and I can't score it lowly. There was so much they could do. There's no official word on a sequel at this moment in time. I really do hope they follow up, and I really do hope a lot of these issues actually get sorted out in the sequel if they make one. Now, that was my opinions. Now, at the beginning of the video, I did say I want to hear your opinions, because I want to do a follow-up video with what you think that could make this game better. So leave those in the comments below, and I will do a second video just reading those comments out with what your opinions, whether I like it or not. In fact, I will do a little tally chart on the bottom of the screen, whether I agree or disagree. Let's see if I'm the only one thinking there's little niggly bits all the way through. As I said, I normally do film reviews. If you like film reviews, I do those every Sunday, 6 PM UK time, so come and join us for those. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Come join the community. We have some great laughs on the live chat when I premiere my videos as well. There's some other of my videos on the screen now, and thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye.